Hello, I'm Dennis with the Garage Engineer, and welcome to Estate Sale Friday. If you haven't seen one of our previous Estate Sale Friday videos, basically the concept is Thursday night I go on Facebook Marketplace, I search for any estate sales, garage sales, yard sales, and then on Friday, usually first thing in the morning, I go and check out those places. Now the reason why I go Friday morning, because that's when the best deal is. Usually people wait for Saturday because most people have to work. I have the flexibility in my schedule. I can go on Friday mornings, and that's when I can typically find the better deals or the items that haven't been picked over. Now this summer has been pretty slow. We haven't had as many options to go visit. We did have a few finds, but nothing really that good. Today was an exception. Today we went to an estate sale of someone who used to be a locksmith. There was a garage just full of items, everything from locksmith tools just to regular home maintenance type tools. I had my list of items that I've been needing because I'm doing a pack out of the new shop truck. I got a toolbox put into the bed, and now I need to fill it up with some tools. So I had a list of items that I needed, and this was the exact perfect situation to find what I needed. So let's get into it. So I'm trying to make a mobile tool build out for the shop truck. So I'm going to have multiple bags where I want to keep electrical, plumbing, and just the regular tools. So I needed bags for my electrical tools and my plumbing tools. So that's why these two bags caught my attention. The funny thing is that I had just bought this exact same tool bag not 1 week ago, and so I know exactly how much it was. It was $40. Now this one's dirty and been used, but that's how all the bags turn out to be after they've been used. And this was pretty much empty, so I just grabbed it and was carrying it around with me, kind of using it as a shopping cart. But there were a few items in here. I didn't add anything, I just took it as it is. So let's dump it out and see what we got. So we got some brand new electrical plates, blanks that we could use just on a job. Here's an aluminum bracket. That's nice to have. I'll save that. Definitely a file. I had one in my tool bag, but I think I'm going to carry this one around and then keep the other one in the shop. And I can't read it. I'll have to look it up. I have to get a microscope. I can't see that, but file. We got a hole saw. Pretty worn, but definitely probably usable. We'll test it out. Now we got a glass cutter. In Germany, CRL. Oh, we'll have to check that out. That's interesting. It's a German-made tool. Alright, so we got some Allen wrenches, some drill bits. We got these mounting plates. These are for zip ties. You can run your zip tie through there and then adhesive stick it to wherever you need for cable management. Oh, here's a nice, this is a Milwaukee bit holder. That's nice. With a DeWalt built bit. Here's a number 2. This old bit, some screws, some trash, some more bits, some zip ties. I think that's about it. That's not too bad. Just little bits and bobs. Oh, here's a nut driver, magnetic nut driver, DeWalt. That's nice. Alright, so we'll keep the anchors, keep some of the screws, and we'll get the rest of it in the trash. Alright, so that was one tool bag. Let's get the other one. Now, I really didn't need two tool bags, but I decided to go ahead and pick it up. This one had actually some tools in it. Not all of them in here, but had some. So what I was using is kind of a shopping cart, and I'll come to a tip in just a minute of why I'm doing this. So I just used this, and I started picking up some of the tools. Now let's see here. These 2 pipe wrenches were not in the bag, but I needed a bigger pipe wrench, and I picked up another one that was right next to it. This is a rigid, I'm sorry. So it's not too bad, and this is just actually, this is a Brasscraft. I think they sell these in the plumbing supply company, so it's pretty nicer one. These were on a shelf, separate. And most of these other tools, and this right here, we'll come back to this in just a minute. That's another tool. And let's see here. These pliers, now this says Park Tool. Anytime you see a Park Tool brand, it's tending to deal in the bicycle realm of tools, specialty company. And what this is this cuts brake lines and adjuster cables, so it cuts it nice and clean, and then also you can pinch them closed. And I think it's missing a spring. I'm not sure if there's a spring that goes right there, but it still works just fine. So that wasn't in the bag, but I picked that up. And let's see, I think there was one other tool. Oh yeah, there's actually 3 other tools in here. So these 3 other tools I picked up, they're just laying on a bench. This one's a Klein wire strippers. They were nice and compact, and I thought that was kind of nice to have. These are, let's see, commercial electric diagonal cutters. Pretty heavy duty, so I kind of like that. And this is Rainbird. I really didn't know what it was for. I knew Rainbird is the irrigation system company, but I ended up looking it up when I got home. And what it is this is how you pick up the water sprinklers that pop up out of the ground. You use this tool to grab it and pull it up, and then you can hold it while you're working on it. So, I mean, I don't have a sprinkler system, but I thought it was kind of neat. Pretty tool, and I think it's like $12, so I mean, it's not that bad. Alright, so I picked this bag up because I was more interested in the bag. There's tools in it, which was fine. I just left them, and then I was shopping. So when I was going around shopping, I was just sticking these tools in the bag. The reason why I did that was because I like to bundle everything that I'm purchasing. And so at the end, when I ask them for a price, I let them, I try to bid it as a whole price. So if the price they give me, I let them always make the first offer of the price so they feel comfortable in the negotiation. Now, if it's way too high or they're really overpricing things, or, I mean, it is Friday, so this is the beginning of the sale, they might think they could get more for it later. I like to have a couple extra items in here that I don't really have to have, but I use it as a negotiation tool. So, like these 2 pipe wrenches. I definitely wanted the bigger, longer one. I think this is 16 inch. What does it say? 18 inch. I wanted this. I didn't have to have this because I think I had one already, but I had it in the background, so if we start negotiating, I'd pull this out and say, well, what would you give me for the whole lot, but taking this off? And then that way they can come down on the price if I thought that the overall price was too much. And so that's what I did with a few items. The reason I like to also bunch everything up in like a bag or something like that, because then they look at it as just a whole lot, selling it together rather than individually, because the Park Tool, I mean, I pull all this stuff out and they look at everything, so I'm not trying to just confuse them and try to pull something over on them. I pull it all out of the bag, lay it out on the table so they can see actually what it is, but their value on something might not be what I see as a value. Like this Park Tool, I think this is like $30, $40. So I'm bundling all this up together. So a lot of these tools just want to bundle it up to make one price. So we'll get to the pricing in a minute, but let's go through the other tools that were in the bag just to see if we got any deals. They're hand tools. I wasn't really expecting anything. I was more interested in the bag. And then when I took it up to the person sitting at the table, they didn't even really look at the bags that much. I mean, I told them I wanted them, but they were more interested in the tools inside rather than including the bag in the price. So you'll see that in a minute when we talk about the pricing of how I got. It was nice getting these 2 bags. And again, I got 2 of these bags because if the price was way too high, I would have taken a bag out and just said, I need 1 bag, not 2. Would you come down on your price? So that's a little bit of negotiation that you could use next time, maybe if you're at an estate sale. So let's get back into the bag and see what other hand tools in here that we got. All right, so we're gonna move the pipe wrenches out of the way. We know we got that. Let's see here. We got the Parkland tool. We already talked about that one. Wire strippers, we talked about that one. And these are actually, I didn't know if I said, these were Klein wire strippers, so that was pretty nice. They weren't just cheap Chinese-made ones. Here's the cutters we talked about. Here's the Rainbird tool. I think everything else was in here. So this was what was in here. Kind of glanced in there. There's a few screwdrivers. That's fine. But I was more concerned again with the bag, not the tools in there. So let's dump it all out. I think we got everything out of here. Alright. So Stanley tape measure. It's not a Fat Max, but it's actually in pretty good shape. So there's that. This is interesting. This is a coax puller, wire puller. So you put the end of your coax, screw it on, and then you tie a string or something, and you can pull it through the wall. So it's kind of a lead. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see, we got zip ties, piece of wire. Here's a Milwaukee torque bit. Here's another bit. There's a bunch of bits. Let's take these bits out. So here's a drill bit and driver bits. Allen key. We're just going to get all these out of the way here. Some more Allen keys. I don't know what that is. It looks like a... Not really sure. We'll hold on to it. Here's a random socket. Here's a bar stock. I don't know what they is bent. I wonder what they use that for. Some type of bar stock for some type of tool. It's a big old screw. There's Allen keys, some electrical tape, zip tie, another Allen key. Here's a little pocket knife. Just generic pocket knife. More zip ties, another Allen key. Something broken, trash. Alright. I think that's most of it. What did we get? So, well, we got a nice long drill bit. That's kind of nice to have. It's still pretty sharp too, so that's kind of nice. Here's a magnetic, telescopic magnetic pickup tool. Always can have that for screws. Here's I guess this is the old fastback. No, it's not folding, but this is a Milwaukee utility knife with the extra knife, rope cutter right there. Let's see here. Sharp blade. I wonder if there's a tiny little blade right there. I wonder if that's to cut boxes or to cut wires. I'm not really sure. Gilla. That's all it says. I have to look it up. That's interesting. Now this is neat. This is a soapstone for marking metal. And you can just, instead of using a paint stick, you can use soapstone. I got one of these, but it's always good to have another. Scissors. These are Weiss. We've talked about Weiss before. These are really nice, nicely made. It says trim line. I wonder what that's interesting. It's tight. It's not, doesn't wiggle. A little rusted. We can clean that up. But it's pretty sharp. And then we just got a pair of utility Fisker. Oh, that's Fiskars. Scissors. So that's nice. It's a big bore drill bit. That's pretty big. What does this say? 11/16. And it's still pretty sharp too. Alright, we got a bunch of screwdrivers. Here's a lot of flathead screwdrivers. This is just a Great Necks. It's just a cheap one. This is a Stanley. The tip's bent. Somebody's been using it as a pry bar. We might have to fix that up. So here's a precision screwdriver. Let's see a brand name. What does it say? TSQ, TEQ. I always like these tips right here that are free. So when you're screwing, you can put it in the palm of your hand and screw at the same time. That's kind of a nice feature I like on these screwdrivers. Now this is a nice one. This is a Klein flathead. It used to be insulated. Klein tool. Looks like it got tore up a lot, but it's for electrician use. Nice flathead there. And we'll come back to that. Here's just a Husky long flathead screwdriver. Here's another Klein flathead screwdriver. It looks like it's been ground down on one side, so it's pretty sharp, but it's not flat. It's not square. Looks like here someone ground this one down to use as a pry bar to clean out insulation. So that's what they use that for. And here is a Stanley flathead screwdriver. It's beat up too on the tip. We'll have to clean that up. Maybe we'll just have one video cleaning up tips. And here's a Buck Brothers 6-in-1, 5-in-1, whatever they call it. This says 4-in-1, so really it's more 6-in-1 when you start counting the hex 2 is how they market it now. But it's basically, it's got 4 different bits. No, it's got 3 Phillips and 1 flathead. That's different. Usually you see a big Phillips, big flathead, and then a small Phillips and a small flathead on these things. That's different. It's Buck Brothers. And this is a nice one. This is a Klein 11-in-1 tool. This is one of their older ones. Basically, you can take little tips, stick it in here, and then they flip around. So this can actually hold more tips. And it's not going to go in very nicely. We'll fix that. So you flip it around here, and you can take, and this actually has a star bit on there, which is kind of nice. You can change them out depending on what you need. I think that's it. So we'll go back. Let's get all these tools back in the bag, and then let's talk about that one box that we got. So this box right here is something I've been, again, has been on my list of things I need, but really didn't want to buy it. You can buy cheap sets from Harbor Freight, and I'm sure this is probably where it's at. This box was added on. This isn't the original box, but what these are is metal punches and it has all the letters of the alphabet. Now I don't know if they're all here or not, and it's got numbers too. So it's always something that I've been interested in getting, and this was a good opportunity. So I'll have to go through these later and kind of figure out what we got. Make sure we got all the letters, all the numbers. But that's basically what this is. Complete. It looks like it's pretty close to a complete set. So this last box here was on my list too. I wanted to have a small little box to stick in the toolbox in the back of the shop truck, and I thought this was kind of nice. It fit in there, so I could keep things that I wanted a little bit more protection than letting it be banging around in the back of the box. So I got this, and it had a bunch of screws in, and I said I really just want the box, not the screws, and they ended up dumping all the screws out. They're miscellaneous screws, so I didn't care. I really wanted the box, because this is probably about $7-8 box when it's brand new at the store. Now these two items weren't in the box, but I wanted to put it in here for dramatic effect. Let's look at this. These two I saw they're just sitting on the shelf, and these were my prize, I guess, finds of today. This is a Klein tool multimeter 400. This is similar to their other one, but this is auto adjusting, whereas their other one, the 360, I think, is just a manual adjustment for like voltage and all that. And I was playing with it earlier. I put fresh batteries in here because it wasn't working right, and I really didn't know what was going on. But then I ended up finding out each one of these is always a little different. I was trying to test this on a battery. Let me get a battery here. And if you look right there, there's your voltage. But it was giving me some weird reading. So this is a DC battery, and it just kept jumping around. I really didn't know what it was, because some of my other multimeters, I didn't realize you had to set this. It's on actually AC, because you can see the wavy line. So I plugged it into the wall, and it worked fine. And then so you push select, moves it over to DC, and 16.77, and that's what this battery was reading with my other meter. So I think checking out, this meter actually works really well. It's really beat up and dirty, and the probe holders don't actually work anymore. Let's see if this one works. This one might. No, this all beat up. This rubber is really degraded. So, which is not a deal breaker for me, but it's not holding it very well. And the other side is completely broken off, see? So you got one. If you're not familiar with them, you do voltage, frequency, continuity, diode testing. This goes up to 10 amps when you move the plug over. Milliamps, and then the microamps. I can't think of it right now. And then temperature. I haven't figured out how the temperature works yet. I know you put the 2 probes. I think there's a separate little probe that they have that you can stick in here. I didn't come with it, so we'll have to look up that and maybe get one or make one. But that was really nice. So this is about $55 just by itself. I mean, it's brand new, but it's beat up, but it works, so I'm pretty happy. Now this is called a thread setter. So this tool right here, I saw was sitting on the shelf, and I like to go through anytime I see a blow mold case, I always open up just to see if there's anything in it or what. And this is a thread setter. If you're not familiar with a thread setter, is what it does is, let me get one, there it is. It's kind of like a rivet for screws. So if you get a piece of sheet metal and you can't reach behind it to put a nut when you're driving a bolt, then what you do is you drill a hole, stick this in there, and then you use the machine. No, this is the wrong tip. Use the machine and then you clamp it in there. And basically it's like a rivet. It draws the metal up and secures it. So then what you can do is you take your screw and you've got a threaded insert to screw into and not have to worry about reaching for the nut on the back side of it that you can't reach, or just something that's in an awkward spot. So this is really neat. So it's funny that I was watching Terrell Fixes All YouTube channel, which is really neat. He's very funny, and he explains how to do a lot of small engine repair, which I've learned a lot from him. But he's working on a Willys Jeep truck, or Willys Jeep, and he used one of these, and I thought, oh, so I just saw it a couple days ago, and I thought that's something it'd be nice to have, but not something I'm going to go out and buy, because I'm not going to use it every day, but it would be nice to have when if I needed it. So I was looking online when I got home, and this is a Marson thread setter, and I don't know, I'm not in the scene, so I don't know name brands or anything, but it seemed like it was a nicer quality than some of the ones I've seen, and I found out this is like over $100. So all the parts are there, and I think we got a pretty good deal on it. So that is our today's estate sale haul from our security/locksmith shop. I've been pretty happy with all this. We ended up putting in a few more items in here so we can use that to negotiate if their initial offer is way too high than what we feel that the value of everything is, or what we're willing to pay. Typically, I like, before I check out, to add up everything and figure out a price that I'm happy with. That would be my walk away. That sometimes they just want too much and I just have to put it all away, even though I put a lot of time into picking some of this stuff out. But I didn't do that this morning. I just kind of rolled my dice, threw it all together just to see kind of where we're at. I didn't really have a upper price, but I knew what a good price was, and I think that's where we came to. All of these items, I asked him how much well, first we took everything out on the table, laid it all out so he could see it. I really wanted him to see all the little tools, just so he wouldn't think that I was just trying to pack in a bunch of stuff and hide something. So we laid it all out, he looked at it. He really didn't look at the bags, which was very interesting. He just looked more at the tools, and that was his focus. And I said, well, what would you take for all these? And he said $50. Now, that's a good price. But there's also the other thing, whenever they make the offer, you always got to counter with something, I feel. That's just part of negotiation and sales, and that's yard sale, estate sale etiquette, so everybody feels happy that they got a good deal. Now, $50 is good. If he offered like $200, then you definitely want to negotiate way lower than that. But since $50 was a good deal, I just came back with $40, just something that we can negotiate with. And he said, well, let's meet in the middle at $45, and I happily took that and paid the man. So I was very happy with it, and I think we got a very good deal. I'll use pretty much all these tools, but most of it regularly. Thanks for coming along on our adventures today on our Estate Sale Friday at our Locksmith shop. And I hope you check out your local Facebook marketplaces and find estate sales and find things that you're looking for. Have a good one. And if you'd like to see more videos like the one that you just saw, you can check here and here. And remember the ABCs of making. Always be creating. Till next time.